Hey guys, it's Jason. I hope you're doing well. Happy holidays. I hope you're enjoying some downtime or some time with your loved ones. Today's video, I want to talk about which Major League Baseball teams have improved the most so far this offseason. We're about halfway through the offseason. A lot of the big signings have happened, but there's still a boatload of signings to go. As you know, about a day or so ago, Hyunjin Ryu signed with the Toronto Blue Jays for 4 years, $80 million. So he's not coming back to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers, aside from signing Blake Treinen for the bullpen, haven't really done anything. So I have a feeling they're going to be motivated to make a couple of significant trades, potentially a bigger trade, which could be instead of just Lindor, I know that they're looking at Lindor and Mike Clevenger, who's one of their starting pitchers, and they can turn this into like a huge blockbuster and address two positions at once. But we'll see what happens. Aside from that, if you're new to this channel, please click that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you watch my videos and haven't subscribed yet, I really would appreciate it if you click that subscribe button. My goal is to continue to grow this channel, and the more subscribers the channel gets and the more likes the videos get, the more YouTube shares it throughout the community through its algorithm. It recommends it. And my goal is to share it with as many baseball fans as possible, to create a channel for us, the regular folks, and that we can enjoy, that we can have a dialogue, that we can put on our own GM hats and kind of see what's going on. And that's the reason I do these videos every other day, for your enjoyment. So, guys and gals, and if you have recommendations or suggestions of your own of a video that you haven't seen that you'd like me to put out, put it in the comments down below. I accommodate all requests. If you have a channel of your own, let me know in the comments after you subscribe, and I'll make it a point to, to mention you and your channel in my next couple of videos. And I do want to put out a thank you to the Pope of Sports and Entertainment, who subscribed to my channel. And if you want another good baseball channel, if you happen to be a wrestling fan as well, he's got some great wrestling content on his channel as well. So take a look at the Pope of Sports and Entertainment. I think you'll enjoy his channel as well. And him and I might be looking to do some type of collaboration in the near future as well, to talk about baseball and go over every team. But in terms of every team, I've done a breakdown of every single Major League Baseball team for this offseason, what I think they should do versus what I think they'll likely do. I've done MLB free agent predictions, contract predictions, winter meetings predictions. I've done crazy trade proposals. I've done a video on the Houston Astros sign-stealing scandal and another video on a recommended punishment and a bunch of other videos. So if you're a baseball fan, this channel's for you. So be sure to click that subscribe button and click the notification next to it so that you know anytime I put out a new video, which is every other day. And take a look in the description down below. I'm gonna link a couple of my videos down there for your enjoyment, and I hope that you'll take a look at them. So, with that said, why don't we go over to the lab and see which teams have improved the most this offseason? Take you over here. All right. So, got two of these boards because I think a lot of teams have made some significant improvements. Okay, so let's start here. The Chicago White Sox. They've already extended Jose Abreu after he accepted his qualifying offer. They've given him 2 more years, so he's back. They've signed Yasmani Grandal, the top free agent catcher on the market. They signed Gio Gonzalez, a left-handed starting pitcher, to a 1-year deal. And yesterday they signed Dallas Keuchel to a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. So they beefed up their starting rotation, and they beefed up the offense pretty significantly. Okay, and there was talk today about them looking at Edward Encarnacion as a potential probably be a DH, and that would keep Abreu at first base. So they had bring him to the fold, and they've really done a lot to boost their lineup. I know Toronto's looking at him as well, but I know the White Sox are looking at him pretty hard today. So we'll see what happens. Next team, Arizona Diamondbacks. They signed Stephen Vogt, I think his last name is, catcher. They signed Madison Bumgarner to a 5-year deal last week. And they've also signed Junior Guerra, who's a relief pitcher. So they've addressed a couple of positions as well. I do not think they're done yet, especially with the NL East. There could be some shaking up going on in the NL West. Excuse me, not the East, the West. Okay. Speaking of NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies signed Zach Wheeler to boost him into that starting rotation. A really big boost to that rotation there. They've also signed Didi Gregorius to play shortstop. Now, they've traded as a Michael Franco, and then they released them, and then they released Cesar Hernandez, so their third baseman and their second baseman. So Didi is going to come in the shortstop. I think they're going to move Segura over to second, which leaves third base open. So they could make a trade, or don't be surprised if they bring in Josh Donaldson. He's still available. I know that other teams are looking at him, but you never know. The Phillies, I don't think they're done making moves yet. So San Diego has made quite a few moves. They've acquired Trent Grisham, who's an outfielder, and Zach Davies in trades. Okay, who's a starting pitcher. They've also acquired Tommy Pham, another outfielder from the Tampa Bay Rays. They signed Drew Pomeranz, a relief pitcher. And they've also acquired Jurickson Profar, an infielder in a trade. It happened so long ago that most people forgot about it. But they've addressed multiple positions here. They've added to the offense, and they've added to the bullpen. And I don't think they're done making moves yet. I think they might make a trade for a starting pitcher. So keep an eye out for that. They have the #1 farm team in the major leagues. They can pretty much trade for whoever they want. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in somebody like Matthew Boyd or Noah Syndergaard or something like that. Do not be surprised if they make a move. I do think they need to bring in a starting pitcher of a high quality. But they've made quite a few moves. And I said in my other videos, a lot of teams that make a lot of incremental moves, not the big splashes, are going to be the ones that really improve as well, along with the teams that make the big splashes. So I think I would look out for the San Diego Padres to make some good improvements this season. Now I'm going to take this down. Let's go to the second board. Okay. We got a lot of teams on here. All right. Texas Rangers. Obviously, last week they acquired Corey Kluber in a trade with the Cleveland Indians to boost their starting rotation. They've also signed Jordan Lyles, a starting pitcher. And they signed Kyle Gibson, a starting pitcher. So they already have Mike Minor. So they're either adding 3 starting pitchers to Minor, which gives them a pretty legitimate starting rotation, or potentially they might use Mike Minor in a trade now to address third base or to some other position. You know, they were talking to the Yankees about Miguel Andujar for third base. It's a potential possibility, or they could bring in Josh Donaldson for third base and keep Mike Minor and have 4 pretty good starters. But they're going after Houston in the West. Okay, next team, Toronto Blue Jays. They've signed Tanner Roark for the starting rotation. Shen Yamaguchi, who could start or pitch as relief from Japan. Chase Anderson, another starting pitcher, so they're really adding depth to that starting rotation. Travis Shaw, who's an infielder who they signed yesterday. And the big splash, Hyunjin Ryu. They took him away from the Los Angeles Dodgers. So they've added several pieces to the starting rotation. They're trying to be competitive in that AL East, and they know it looks like Boston might be a little vulnerable because there's also talks about them trying to acquire David Price. Now, there might be some thoughts about Ryu taking him out of the market, but I don't think so. I actually think Boston's eager to move Price, so they'd be willing to eat quite a bit of that contract. They give 1 or 2 good prospects and eat maybe half the contract. They'll add David Price to the fold, and then their starting rotation will be really legit. So keep an eye out for that. Minnesota, they've also made moves. They've re-signed Michael Pineda. Even though he's suspended, I think he's going to be suspended maybe the first month of the season, and will be back in May. But they've brought him back to the starting rotation. Jake Odorizzi, he accepted his qualifying offer. So he's back in the starting rotation. And they've also signed Tyler Clippard for the bullpen and re-signed Sergio Romo for the bullpen. So they've really beefed up the rotation and the bullpen. Los Angeles Angels. The Angels have made a couple of significant moves. They acquired Dylan Bundy in a trade with the Baltimore Orioles, starting pitcher, somebody who can throw 170, 175 innings. They need a couple of those guys. Okay, obviously their big splash 2 weeks ago, they signed Anthony Rendon during the winter meetings for third base. He was a perfect complement to Mike Trout, and you add him to, you have, who else do we have here? You've got Upton, you've got Simmons, a pretty legit lineup, and you add, once Joe Adele gets called up and he stays healthy, it's like a modern-day murderer's row right there. They're going to be legit. And combine those guys with Mike Trout, oh my God. Okay? And they also signed Julio Teheran, another guy who can throw 170, 180 innings. Both of these guys are under 30 years old. And they really, really give that starting rotation some protection. and stability that it needs. Cincinnati Reds have signed Mike Moustakas to play. Actually, he's going to play second base because they have a stud third baseman, young stud third baseman. And they also signed Wade Miley a few days ago to add to the starting rotation. I don't think they're done yet either. And the Atlanta Braves, notably, they've been quietly getting a lot better, actually. They're already really good. But they re-signed Chris Martin, one of their relievers. They also added Will Smith, the top relief pitcher on the market. And they signed Cole Hamels to boost their starting rotation. So they've really boosted their pitching, and I don't think they're done yet either. Obviously, there are some other teams that have made signings. The Nationals re-signed Steven Strasburg. The Yankees signed GERRIT Cole. Big splashes. I don't think either team is done yet. And I think the Dodgers are going to make one or two significant trades since they've missed out on a lot of the top free agents. And other teams are going to be getting better too. The Mets have added a couple of pitchers, and a lot of other teams are incrementally adding. So keep an eye out because I'm going to do a piggyback to this video. Once more of the training, right before spring training, I'm going to see which teams have added to this list, which teams have joined this list. Okay? And we'll see where it goes. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you have feedback of your own, put them in the comments. If you enjoyed it, please click that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I really would appreciate it very much. Again, I want to share this with as many baseball fans as possible. And if you know any baseball fans, family and friends, please share my channel with them. I want to know what they think as well. If there's anything I can do better, if there's anything I'm not doing that you want me to do, put them in the comments down below. I want to make this channel as best as I possibly can. My goal as baseball fans is just to share this with as many baseball fans as possible. Okay, so we have a kind of a collective voice, our own little fan community, and it's a lot of fun to do it too. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Happy holidays, and I'll talk to you next time.